All right, welcome to our first video in our series of videos to help keep yourself healthy and pain-free at home, and hopefully also give you an introduction and a reminder of some of the things I might tell you in your session if you come and see me for bodywork or for any of my other programs. So today I wanted to look at feet, because I know I've talked to many of you about feet and about the exercises that you can do to keep your feet healthy. So I wanted to go over a few tools that you can have in the comfort of your own home to work on your feet and the mobility of your feet. And it helps things like balance. It helps keep you from getting hammer toes or bunions or arthritis in your joints. So feet are the number one important thing. I'm probably going to say that about every part of the body, but let's look at a few things that you can get really cheaply to have at home. So I highly recommend you go to the dollar store and you get, I don't know, I think it's $1 or $2 for these Party Favor bouncy balls. And all you need is one, so you can buy and share with your friends, or come and see me for a treatment and I will give you a ball. But this is a really great tool to work on the flexibility of your metatarsals. So those are the bones in your feet that come down, not the toes, but in the forefoot. So I'm going to show you how to use that. Another tool that is great to have is an old tennis ball. So you can usually go down to a tennis club and get some old balls for free. Otherwise, you can buy new tennis balls, or if you used to play and aren't playing in the winter, find one of these are kicking around, and this is also great. Another thing you might want to invest in is a short piece of dowel. I have one here that was made specifically for rolling your feet, and it's got ridges and it's kind of a massager. But just a short piece of dowel will work fine. This is about maybe not quite an inch diameter. And you can also use a broom handle if you have a wooden broom handle. But these tools are great for rolling your feet, and I'm going to show you those as well. Another tool you might want to have is if you've ever been to the physio and gotten a piece of elastic tubing. This is really great for working the strength of your flexor muscles. So if this was your foot, the muscles that curve your toes over like this. So I'm going to show you how to do an exercise with the tubing. You can also strengthen the ankle and the foot with like a Pilates band. These are stretchy bands. I got these at Winners. They're usually available, Costco, Winners, online. So you can get a band. This is great for lots of things, and I'll show you over the next series of videos some great tools for this. So let's talk about how to work the feet. So first of all, if you have your feet uncovered, it's easier to see what you're doing. So you want to place your feet down, and you want to look specifically for the alignment. So from your hip bones, which you can find with your fingers, those like headlight kind of bones that are right in the front here, should come straight down through the kneecap and come straight down to the second toe. So I don't want to line up my foot along this line. I don't want to do this because you can see that's actually a slight turnout. I want to line up my feet to the second toe. Okay, so this is actually a neutral alignment, and it might feel really weird for you, but that's what you want to start with. And you want to separate your feet so that they're underneath your hips. And this doesn't mean really wide. It's, maybe a fist between your feet. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is just have a look at your feet if you can. And maybe just lift your toes and place them down. Just see if you can lift your toes and place them down. And just kind of see how easy that is to do. The second thing we're going to do is notice how your arches, if they're dropped like this, if you find your feet are like this, we're going to work with that. If you find that you're standing on the outsides of your feet like this, we're gonna work with that. So you wanna notice where on my feet, am I standing? And if you find that a little bit difficult, let's just take our feet a little bit further apart. And if any of you have done downhill skiing, this is very similar. To take your feet over to one side, so you're on the inside of one foot and the outside of the other foot. Roll really slowly back through and to the other side. Now, if you have knee issues and this is hurting, please don't do anything that hurts, but just try taking your weight side to side on your feet. This warms up your ankles and also gets your brain engaged with your feet, which we sometimes let our brain run off in completely opposite direction from our feet. So go back and forth a few times. And the other thing you can try is keeping your legs straight. Bring your weight forward over the ball of your foot and then take it back over your heels and just kind of forward and back a little bit. So you sort of feel your entire foot. And then you can just shake out. The next exercise is lifting up. So if we are walking, we want to mimic the idea of walking with awareness. So we want to move through that entire range of the foot. So you'll see I'm making sure my knee is not going in any other direction, but straight over that second toe, up to here. And I want to make sure my ankle doesn't do this. I want to keep the ankle right over all of my toes as much as I can. So you almost need to press into that big toe. And this might be, you might only be able to get to here, and that's okay. But see if you can push into the ball of your foot and come up a little bit higher. And you're just going to do that a few times. And try the other foot. You might find one foot way different than the other foot. And you might find that your knee does this little wobble when you come up. If you notice that your ankle or knee is kind of doing a little twitch when you're doing this, that means that it has some instability and that you really need to strengthen it. So this is perfect. So be aware of that, and keep doing the exercise with as much consciousness, alignment, and, slow, careful movement as you can. And if you can only get to here, if your toes don't bend that much, don't do anything else. If you can only get to here, you only get to here. See if next week you might be able to get a little bit higher. Next week you might be able to get a little bit higher. So ideally you get to a place where you can take both feet through their full range of motion. Okay, and then shake up. So the next exercise that is fun to try is to lift up your toes. And if you want to just do one foot at a time, that's fine. Spread your toes as much as you can and see if you can put them down one toe at a time. And if you want to try both feet at once, lift, spread, one toe at a time coming down. And then kind of relax and then lift your toes, one toe at a time. Now this might take some practice, and I'm going to show you how to practice this. Okay, so we've done a little bit of a warm-up like this, and we've spread our toes and we've just kind of come down. So let's do some sitting down exercises. Actually, I'm going to show you. You can be sitting in a chair and do some of these ball exercises that I showed you. So if your balance is not great, you might want to have, you can sit down, you don't have to worry. So get your tennis ball and you're going to put it right under kind of the upper arch. So not right under the main arch, but kind of under the ball of your foot so that your toes can curl over. So you're just going to curl your toes over the ball, try to kind of, as if you were trying to grip the ball with your hand, but this is with your foot. And then lift your toes up and kind of press the ball of the foot into the ball. And then curl your toes over, lift up. And you can kind of press on your thigh if you want to give it a little bit of weight there and curl. And you should find a nice stretch along the top of the foot. You should find, oh, my toes can kind of curl more than I thought they could. And you may want to roll the ball sideways along the arch so you're now closer to the pinky side of your foot. And then curl and curl. And eventually, you know, if it is possible to actually pick up the ball with your foot. People have developed that. I haven't yet, and I'm not sure if it's necessarily a goal I'm gonna take on, but you know, if we had to use our feet, they can actually do many things. So you can also do the roll the ball under the longitudinal arch, so along the length of your foot. You can kind of roll. Helps you to feel everything under your foot. And sitting down helps, you know, it's not as painful. You can control how much pressure you put on. If you do want to do this standing up, that's also possible. You can also roll it side to side. So just kind of touching on everywhere in your foot. And then just see if that foot feels a little bit more alive than the other one. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other foot. I'll show you standing up this time. So you're going to have your feet parallel. You're just going to curl your foot over, press into the ball, and lift your feet up and curl up a couple of times, a few times. And you can put it closer to the pinky side of the foot. I get a really nice stretch when I do it closer to the outer edge of my foot. And you can come closer to the big toe side of your foot. And then you can roll kind of along anywhere under the foot really, but longitudinally and side to side. You can put your heel down a little bit. Just be careful you don't twist your knee too much. And if you have trouble with balance, do hold onto a wall or a chair. Okay, so let's just take stock, like I tell a lot of you in your sessions, what happened whenever we do an exercise. What did that do for us? What did that do for our body? So just take a moment to line up your feet again in parallel and notice how they feel. And my feet are feeling much more open and, you know, grounded on the mat. I feel like I have more balance. I could move side to side and forward and back a lot easier after doing just that exercise. So you might notice something different, and that's perfectly okay. So now we're going to use the little tiny rubber ball. And again, I'm going to do this seated. So you have the rubber ball on the floor, and the place that it's going to go is right under the metatarsal heads, which is kind of right under each joint where the toe kind of joins to the foot, underneath there. So it would be the same place on your hand where your knuckles are. And we do have knuckles in our feet, and we want to see each knuckle. So you're going to press so that you try to see each knuckle. So you're going to put the big toe joint there right over the ball, and you're going to kind of press and see if you can press into that and actually get the knuckle to pop up a little bit there on the top of your foot. And then you're going to try the next toe. So you're just going to see if you can get it to pop. When you curl your toes over it, can you see that knuckle? You can't really see it on my feet that much. I'm still working on this myself. So you go through all the toes. The little toe, you can see a little bit here popping up. The knuckle is actually further down than you think too. So, you know, it's not going to be right where the toe joins the foot. It's going to be further down where it actually is bending from. Okay, so we're going to do that both feet. And I'll show you with my hand. If I pressed, you know, my hand over, I want the knuckle to come up here for each finger. I want the knuckle to pop up. So I'm working on the flexibility of these intrinsic muscles, they call it, in between each toe, in here, in the forefoot. Okay, so you can also do this for your hand, by the way, if you find that your hand's really tight. Feet and hands are very similar. Okay, so that's the exercise with the tiny ball. The dowel is fairly obvious. You can roll over the dowel with your foot. I tend to like to do this standing up. So if I have the dowel here, I want to make sure I'm solid on one foot. I can hold the wall, line up the dowel, and then just kind of press and roll through my entire foot. And you might find parts where it's more sore than other parts. But the idea is to work all that area of the foot, especially through the arch. And you can move your foot around at each place. You can hang out here for a while. I recommend doing that for, 2 or 3 minutes on each foot. So I want to make sure I show you remember our stretchy band. And hopefully you can see this. So you're going to have your foot, if you can sit with your feet straight out in front of you, then you can do it like this. You can also sit on a chair, have your foot down towards the ground. Now you're going to loop the band around one toe. So we're going to do each toe. I'll keep this foot out of the way. And you're gonna pull and curl your toe and then pull your entire foot down. Okay, so the band, I'm putting as much tension as I want, really. You don't want to put too much tension, but I want to curl, pull with the toe, and then pull with the whole ankle, the whole foot. So you can see that this is a really good exercise for this entire arch, these muscles, these flexor muscles. So I curl my toe and I curl the entire foot. Now you may get cramps when you first do this exercise. Don't worry, stop if you get a cramp, shake out the cramp and then try again. Try a couple of times and then leave it to the next day and try the next day. Keep working on it, and within a week or so you should be good, and you should be much stronger in your arch. If you do need to, have some guidance with this, I'm available for sessions. I'm now working at our new location at our Celtic Hearth. I do movement, somatic coaching, so body awareness coaching, and of course the body work, myofascial release, Swedish massage, all the things I did before, hot stone massage, relaxation as well. But you can come and we can work on this in person so that we make sure you're doing it properly. But for those of you who I've already gone over these with, this will be a great reminder. So I'm gonna hook the tubing over my second toe and the same exercise. Curl the toe and pull the entire foot down. So I want to work each toe separately. Then I do the third toe. And again, you might notice 1 or 2 toes really weak, especially the second and third toes. They tend to get lazy. So you're gonna do that. Work on the fourth toe. Actually, surprisingly, usually your fourth and your pinky toe are actually stronger than your second and third one. So just a little trivia there. So curl the pinky toe and up. Okay, so that's the toe exercise with the tubing. You can do the same exercise with a band. You just have to kind of curl the band up, and you don't need as much pull because this has more tautness to it. Now, if you want to do something else and you haven't cramped up yet with your toe exercise, you can put the whole tubing right over all of your toes and do this with all 5 toes together. This is more of an ankle exercise, so I'm curling all my toes down and all my toes up. And you can get a nice stretch in the calf there too. Pulling back, nice stretch. You can also, work the ankle side to side. This is a good one too. And there's lots more exercises you can do for the foot, but that is a really good starting place. So after we've done this with both feet, you're gonna stand up or sit and just line your feet up again and notice what has changed, what have you, worked on. And if you lift your feet and lower them, lift your toes and lower them, you might notice that's a lot easier to do. You might notice your kneecaps are pulling up better, so you're able to get more strength going right down, groundedness into the earth. If you go side to side, you might notice, hey, I feel a lot more balanced. So all in all, you might notice your feet, your toes feel like, oh, I can move my toes individually and actually have, you know, a lot more mobility through my entire feet. So hopefully this is something you can try at home that you could do. I recommend doing it every day if you have the time. Once you've gotten it down and your feet aren't bothering you, but you just want to keep in touch with them, once or twice a week would be great. And as you can see, it only takes 10 or 15 minutes to keep your feet mobile, and this will keep you mobile. So just to remind you that I am available for sessions in person and or online, so please do get in touch with me, and I hope that you are having some cozy winter time with all the snow out there. Thanks very much. This is Ailsa Kepi.